All right, all right. We're back. Back to back days, man. TNMT TV. We're here doing a little watch party for the Netherlands England Euro Cup semifinals here. We got myself, we got Zach here. About halftime, just a few minutes into halftime in that match right now. Scores 1-1. Been a pretty exciting first half so far, which is nice. These semifinals are definitely living up to their potential so far. And yeah, it's good to welcome you all back to watch this match with us. And yeah, uh, just going into it, give you guys a little bit of a recap. Um, Xavi Simons scored the first goal for Netherlands about 7 minutes in. So if you were on the app, the TENAMINT app, and making your flash question picks, you might have seen the coming out hot flash question, a team to score within the first 10 minutes. Well, Netherlands did that. And then Harry Kane, who else, with a penalty shot in the 18th minute here. And I don't know, might have been a little bit of a questionable call. I don't really know, but we'll see what Zach thinks about that in a second. But for those who are tuning in now, be sure to jump into the Tenament community, play.tenament.com, or jump into the community at community.tenament.com as well. We're on Telegram. You can make your picks directly through the Telegram app and pick your winners for this game. Make your picks for the over/under 3.5 goals for this game, and all basketball. We got Copa America on there as well, and a ton of other stuff going on. Some exciting launches soon as well with baseball after this weekend, and we're actually going to kick off international basketball tonight with the Canada versus US friendly. So lots of exciting things going on. Oh shit, we got Jim Bob. Is that Jim Bob Cooter himself? The Goons are back with the collab at TENAMINT. Okay, all right. We got the Goon Squad in here. For those who don't know, Jim Bob is the man. He's our TENAMINT's resident NFL expert. Man, he's got picks for days. So we're looking forward to getting him back on the streams very soon. You're welcome to jump in here as well if you want. Shoot me a message. I'll send you the link. And I see Jim Bob's got the under on the game, 3.5 goals. I'm kind of leaning the opposite. I think we're going to get another quick goal to start the second half. And we might see this go to extra time, with an equalizer somewhere late in the game, in England fashion, right? They kind of loafed around sometimes and just wait for the last minute to put some magic together. So we'll see. But yeah, I mean, some notable. I think Depay got hurt. He got subbed out at the 30-minute mark or something like that, which is unfortunate, man. And they brought in Joey Veerman, midfielder, in instead of another striker. So interesting stuff. Let's see what Jim Bob say. Says he's burning off these cheeseburgers at the gym, but maybe another time. Yeah, man. Yeah. Maybe we get some more cheeseburgers later today, man. Watch that Canada-US game. Yeah.
Well, enough intro here, Sal. You don't have to carry us too much further. Let's jump into it because time is ticking. We got 9 minutes left on the flash questions, of which I'm not sure that I've gotten a single one right since we started this yesterday. I think I somehow have continued to go over on these. The Harry Kane penalty, and as with any good cold streak, I had yes, because I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna go contrarian here because I'm sick of losing and I'm just gonna zag, and I had it on yes. And as luck would have it, it's like kind of started second guessing, time keeps going. I'm like, you know what, last night there were 10 seconds left. Switched it to no. I'm like, no, England isn't scoring here. They don't have it. They don't have it in them. And it couldn't have been another 15 seconds after the pick locked, that they start reviewing that penalty, and it's just like, I mean, there wasn't a surer thing that was going to happen at that point than that penalty was going in. So
Yeah, yeah, it was perfect timing. I saw them call for that penalty. I'm like, oh wow, like everyone's gonna be changing their answers on the app the moment they saw that penalty get called, but it literally ended right before then.
yeah, the
Uh,
review is what pushed it out.
you know what it says though? If you're 0 for whatever on all these flash questions, it just means that you're conservative in your approach. That's kind of what it feels like, because I'm doing pretty well on mine, and maybe I'm the optimist. Is
I
like,
mean,
yeah,
a lot of it, I feel like it's a byproduct of maybe watching too many of these games over the course of this tournament, because almost every single one of these games has had a slow start to it. And, especially when we're talking about England, France, those teams are notorious for grinding it out, methodical, uh, just not very dynamic offenses that aren't really looking to push the pace, push the ball. And however, in this instance, the Netherlands is. I mean, they are kind of the opposite of that, and they do want to push it. So, they got on the board first, and I. I mean, you might be right with the conservative approach. It's like I could have been right this entire tournament, picking those same answers up until right now. So, however, it's good to see. It definitely makes for exciting games. So we're looking at here. We got 6 minutes left, and I'm curious to know what you're thinking with this next one. We got over or under 3.5 goals, and this was yesterday. So I will push back a little bit on the conservative argument, because yesterday it was 4.5 after the early goals. I chose the over there, and we didn't get any goals in the second half.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm definitely going the over here. Maybe it's just wishful thinking for me, man. I'm hoping for an equally exciting second half here. It does seem like both defenses picked it up a little bit towards the end of that first half, but man, we'll see. We'll see. I think I'm leaning the over here, though.
Yeah, and that's kind of that weighed into my last one, where I saw Kane down writhing in pain, and it's like, okay, well, Harry Kane, if he's down, and he hasn't been able to get anything going this tournament anyway, but it's like this is their primary offensive threat up top, and if he's out, like they're definitely not figuring out a way to score before halftime. And you know, not 30 seconds later, I was proven wrong, but I think I'd kind of side with you here. It looks like we have that is the contrarian approach with 33% here, but I think I kind of side with you, and that the Netherlands they're certainly they're the underdog, but they're also the aggressor, and that suits their style. And I think they're gonna keep the pressure on and keep pushing. Uh, I think it's gonna, and as we saw, England playing with a lead is like watching paint dry. England down or trailing is exactly what we want as far as a game script goes, because then they kind of have to push and actually utilize some of the offensive talent that they have.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I could definitely lean under if it was England to score first in this
Yeah.
second half, but I would take, if I had the option, right? I would say if England scores first in the second half, we're going to see the under. If it's the opposite way around, I think we see the over. Um, but I want to ask you, with Memphis Depay hurt, taken out of the lineup around the 30-minute mark, how do you think that affects the Netherlands offense?
I mean, honestly, I think they'll be fine. He's a guy that he's a little polarizing in that, I think the idea of Memphis Depay is a good player. He certainly has flashes, but it's I compare him a little bit to like the Russell Westbrook of soccer, where like, look, he's out there, he's making things happen, he's kind of a disruptor, but it's not always beneficial. Like the contributions that he makes aren't, every now and then there will be like with Russell Westbrook, it's like every now and then he just chucks a logo three with, you know, 12 seconds left on the shot clock for no reason, or like throws a wild pass out of bounds. Memphis does a little bit of that where he'll get a little antsy. He'll shoot a deep shot, or, just fire a cross in with nobody there. And, but I think there's kind of an unpredictable nature to his game, but there's some good and bad that goes along with that. So, it's funny. I was listening to something last night talking about Javi Simons and how disappointing he's been in this tournament and how he has really been underwhelming. And it was hard to argue. And, here he comes out today and just gets another screamer. To kind of kick off the game and kick off the scoring. So I found that, it was kind of good to see him finally. It's like, welcome to the tournament, thanks for showing up.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. What was I going to say? Man, you know what? Like, maybe you're right. Like if Memphis Depay is like the Russell Westbrook, that's actually an interesting comparison. But you kind of maybe need that in a game like this where you got to get on the board first here, in the second half anyways. But I don't know. I guess we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. We got some comments in the chat here.
Yeah, like Bob, you were referencing your guy Jim Bob Cooter down here, under 3.5 all day.
Yeah. But Netherlands to win, I like that. I've been rooting for Netherlands. I've been saying it'll be Netherlands going to the finals. So since we talked about it last week.
He's, I gotta agree here though, is that as conservative as they may play, they definitely have shown up and made clutch moments happen when it matters. But that's what happens when you have guys like Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane. Those guys are lightning rods that can show up. And I think, as I had said before, is that's what just makes it so frustrating to see England kind of go into the shell the way that they do, because it's, you got these Ferraris, take them out for a drive. Don't just keep them in the garage all the time. So.
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. You got to turn them loose, right?
Yeah, absolutely. One thing that I did want to cover before we get, as time is winding down on people to make their picks here, is we wanted to share what Argentina decided to share with their fans last night, which was throwing a little shade back at Drake for his $300,000 betting ticket L that he took. This was from the official Argentina Instagram account.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When I first saw that, I'm like, "Oh, that's a cool edit," That's a cool edit. Whoever came up with that, I'm like, and I clicked on the username. I'm like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah.
I did not expect
not too
that
often
from
that you get to see. Yeah. But I think I'm down with that. I'd like to see more of that type of shade being thrown around by official accounts. Mix it up.
Yeah, for sure. I like it, man. I like it. Nothing like a little banter back and forth between teams. But ultimately, man, if you're Canada, you can't be too upset at that. Like, you're there, you made it. You made it. You made it that far. Like, you got to be proud of that. That's obviously a result that no one expected for Team Canada. They made it far, and that's just the start of hopefully what's to come for Canada. Like, I'm not saying they're going to go out and win the World Cup or something when it's on home turf, next time around. But they're also not going to. They very well could make it out of the group stage, which is an accomplishment in itself, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know that there are any, not that I can speak on behalf of Canadians, but I can't imagine many people are disappointed in the overall performance this year at the tournament. They certainly showed out well. And even, as you had said before, in that the opening match against Argentina. Obviously an outfit that's just a little bit of a cut above at nearly everywhere, every position. They didn't embarrass themselves, and then did what they had to do to kind of advance and get out of the group stage, and then found themselves matched up against the number one ranked team in the world again. So it a little bit of a tough draw, but ultimately leaving the tournament with higher spirits than the U.S. can say they are.
Yeah, for sure, and enough, and in higher spirits than a lot of the South American teams that they were grouped up with initially as well, right? That was a tough group, altogether. So just getting out of that group stage in the first place, an accomplishment as well. It's definitely, as like a casual fan, I'll say that Canadian soccer is definitely going to be more on my radar. I'll be watching a lot more, and kind of watching out for the young talent coming up as well. I'm not really sure who we have in the pipelines, but it's definitely picking up steam here locally. Like, you see a lot more people talking about it. Like, just being in Canada, people in my friend groups or like extended circles, they're going to the bar to watch these games, these matches, which is like, I would have never expected half of these people to even think about watching soccer, right? They're like, hockey fans or basketball fans first. So it actually kind of reminds me of the uprise of Canadian basketball. And we'll see that a little bit tonight, where you've got, all these amazing Canadian players who are, on that top tier level. And I'm wondering if Canadian soccer, kind of picks up in the similar fashion as well, right? Obviously led by Alphonso Davies, right?
Yeah, it could be, and it's hard, right? Because it's like their measuring sticks have been, as far as in Copa, they're matched up against the number one team. Their measuring stick when it comes to basketball, even though they're in different groups, it's like ultimately, they kind of get matched up against Big Brother, or at least from a comparison standpoint, it's like, hey, how do they compare against the U.S.? And when it comes to that, position by position, it's not particularly close. They have some nice players, but I do think they have more overall talent on their football club than they do basketball team. That's absolutely true as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and it's not all about talent at this level either, right? Like, it's about how you play together, and we've seen that. We continue the comparison between basketball. We've seen Team Canada come out, in the FIBA games. What was it, a couple years ago, or was it last year? And beat some really tough teams, right? I think they finished with a bronze, if I'm not mistaken. And just off the strength of like just playing as a unit, playing together on defense, and kind of, sticking with that, right? And Jim Bob said it best here. Canada is next up in world sports. Yeah, I'm with that, man. I'm with that. Obviously, hockey, we've already got that, locked down. But I think that Shea Gilgeous-Alexander tonight versus the USA is going to turn some heads for a lot of the people, who are watching that game for Team USA. They might kind of finally understand why Canadians are so high on this team, right? Like, you've got guys like Dylan Brooks, RJ Barrett, who may not be, all-stars or even superstars in the NBA, but when they're repping for Canada, it's just an honor on a different level. And, they really, really play as hard as it gets, in those games. So
were you disappointed to see Zach Edey not be part of the team?
Yeah, man, that really hurts in my eyes, man. Look, Zach Edey was incredible in college. A lot of people were hesitant to say that he can, do it on an NBA level, which is valid. I think his first summer league kind of put that to, had people reconsidering. But in international basketball, there is no defensive three in the key. And when you have a monster like Zach,
or goaltending,
or goaltending,
right. That was the first thing I thought. It's like, here's a guy that you could really play to his strengths in the international game. I mean, why not?
Exactly. Especially with them being grouped up, or I forget what the group is. They're in the same group as France, right?
Yes.
I
Yes.
believe
Let's
so. And
see.
so, like, if you're being matched up against Rudy Gobert and obviously Wembanyama, then you need a guy that big, because like your backup bigs. Well, Kelly Olynyk is a great player. He's more of a, he'll stretch the floor. He's not really rim protecting, and Dwight Powell, in my opinion, just really isn't that good. You kind of needed Zach Edey in the Olympics, and so losing him, just because Memphis wants to keep him in the summer league instead, and also losing Andrew Wiggins because Steve Kerr doesn't want to. Because Steve Kerr doesn't want to play against Andrew Wiggins. That's the first Team Canada, right? So it's disappointing, but I still think the team has, enough, you know, talent to really make some noise. And, the whole thing with Team Canada is they didn't want to let players that weren't buying into the system, 2 or 3 years in a row, into Olympic consideration. So you are seeing some, a lot of big names missing from that Canadian team. Guys like maybe Shaden Sharp or like Delano Banton, who could definitely be an asset in international ball. Like these guys who, you would love to have them out there, but they haven't been playing or practicing with Team Canada. Same with Chris Boucher, guys like that. And so they're not going to be representing Team Canada, but you can imagine that this is going to take a lot of people, inspire a lot of those guys to jump on to the Team Canada circuit a little bit earlier next time around and be involved. And so they have a chance to represent Canada on that level.
So this is interesting, not to get too far off the trail here with the semifinal, where it looks like England is settling into their style of just kicking it backwards and laterally, and not like that's they've got this game right where they want it.
Yeah, we're not missing anything too exciting.
Yeah, I mean,
We'll let you know who we
we're
are.
into the Southgate special now. I mean, he's content to just kick the ball around and run the clock down, and then he's like, hey, we have the better goaltender and probably likes his chances in a shootout. It's like, all right, let's milk the clock, boys. Like, run the ball, keep running the ball, keep the clock running, and let's win this in penalties and move on to the final. But anyway, Jim Bob mentioned that he's wanting to see Memphis protect their asset. Is that so? Did Memphis like refuse to allow him to play?
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow. I mean, you think about something like that happening, like that could be like the U.S. could utilize that to their advantage more, and like maybe block guys from playing.
Well, that's in my opinion.
It's like
In my opinion, that's what happened with Andrew Wiggins. Like Steve Kerr is the coach of Team USA, and they made the call to not let Andrew Wiggins play, citing he had injury concerns or something like that. I don't really know about that, but they're letting 36-year-old Steph Curry play.
Yeah, I mean, you could say you have injury concerns with anything. Anytime I play pickup, you know what? I have injury concerns. My concern is that I don't leave the court injured.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, I do get it. You want to protect your asset, and obviously, being as big as Zach Edey is, it's it's, I guess, a valid concern. But if he's playing in the summer league, then what's the difference between playing in the summer league versus playing, for Team Canada? And honestly, from a development standpoint, you're probably going to get further development with him playing on Team Canada than you are, elsewhere. Like you're going up against real NBA players as opposed to, a bunch of rookies and G League caliber players that you're going to get on those summer league teams, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Man, I can't remember the last time that I saw the Netherlands have possession here.
Yeah.
Well, here we go. Now I think they have to.
I'm curious to see the possession time on this game. Let's see if I can take a look here. Yeah, 66% in favor of England.
Yeah.
68 to 38%. Yeah.
And that's probably like pretty heavily skewed towards, the first half too, where it was felt a lot more balanced than it has been in this second half.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting, like only one corner kick this entire game. Kind of wild.
Yeah, I know some guys that they like the corner market. That like taking over unders on corner kicks, and that's one that is puzzling to me because I can very specific instances. I can see where maybe you could think a certain game script where would favor a team getting more corners, but I don't know. At the same time, it just feels like you're really just purely gambling there. Like you're not finding any edge on a team that you think has a good corners number.
Yeah, it's interesting because I see it a lot too. A lot of people really hammering those corners.
Yeah, you're sitting
That's
here watching, like rooting for corner kicks.
yeah. I don't know, man. Like maybe they know something we don't, but I can't imagine that's an easy like kind of thing to nail down, right? But maybe there is stylistically something that you can point out and be like, oh, this is a great game for unders on corners, right? Like I don't know what the line was, but definitely hitting that under today, that's for sure.
Yeah. It's always fascinating to me, with the set pieces, that seeing all the jockeying for positioning and, guys kind of, it's almost a little bit like a scrum, but, with a dead ball. And, it's kind of a new trend that has been picking up. There's a lot of teams now that will have like a set piece coach. So it's a coach that's kind of just specifically devoted to drawing up these plays. And, in basketball, it's just called the head coach. So they draw up all the out of bounds plays. But yeah, I don't know. It's some of the teams that focus more on it, you can definitely tell a difference that some teams are a lot better and tend to score a lot more goals over the course of a season on set pieces when they have a devoted person. But I
Yeah.
don't know. Sometimes it's just whoever has the tallest guy and whoever can have the most accurate guy to send it into the box.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's kind of like special teams in football in
Oh
America.
yeah, hey, that's actually a really good comparison. Yeah, it is like special teams.
And there's some special teams out there that are like way better than others, and it probably has to do with the coaching behind them, right? But I found it real interesting that yesterday Canada was doing a lot of like, even on the corners, they're just kicking it short, right?
Yeah, what I don't like is the teams that they just kind of dump it off to a guy and they just go right back into live play. I mean, to me, that feels almost like a waste. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
send it in there. I mean, there's a lot of times that you can, maybe get a redirect or knock it or a deflection, and next thing you know, there's a lucky bounce. I mean, it's a mess in front of the goalie. So at bare minimum, he's got a messy box, much more so than most other situations in the game. So
Right. Just get it in the vicinity. There's such a big like, group of guys up front. The goalie's got to keep an eye on 10 different things, right? You might catch him looking the wrong way, or favoring the wrong side. And all it takes is one or two lucky bounces, and you've got a clear shot at the net, right? I mean, you see it in hockey all the time, right? Like you just get it on goal and hope for a deflection, and just someone's there to put it back in, right?
yeah, and it's funny you say that. I was thinking how vastly different, and it's been really great as we've discussed on earlier episodes, is the contrast in styles of watching these Euro games during the day, watching Copa later on at night, and it almost feels like not even watching the same sport, like because it's just being played. The game is being played so differently, and part of that has to do with these. There's a different level of skill with some of these teams in the Euros versus what you see at Copa. But at the same time, it's like they're playing on football fields where, and some of these there's an artificial surface underneath natural grass, and they were saying how much more springy it is. And when I started watching for that, you see that at sometimes it looks like they're playing on a trampoline where the ball would kind of go, and these guys might have like slightly less skills, like ball skills. So then they just can't control the ball at all. It's like passes are bouncing too far, they're losing the ball, and then on top of that, I just felt like I'm seeing guys just firing balls into the box though, and that's the part that makes it exciting. I think is you see teams just maybe struggling to control it's almost like a basketball that's too pumped up, but then they're just rocketing it in to the box and trying to make stuff happen. I think it was Mexico that I was watching in the group stage that seemed to be like they had to have at least 8 to 10 crosses to nobody, where they're just firing the ball in and no one was there, and their strategy was just, hey, whatever, like get it in there and try and messy it up a little bit and see what can happen.
Yeah, and you can imagine if you're the lesser talented team, right? Like you almost need to take those kind of opportunities, right?
Yeah. I'm laughing at this guy just getting like put in a headlock as
Yeah,
a corner. Yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
don't
but
know. I think
that's a
it
perfect
was.
example. That's a perfect example of what goes on in there, man. Like,
Yeah, right. I mean, I don't know. I'd be firing it in there if I'm on the offensive end. It's not like they're gonna. Sometimes some fluky things can happen, and maybe a team can beat you on the break if you have too many guys far up. But ultimately, what do you have to lose? Like, I mean, I've seen teams that, uh, late in the game, it's almost somewhat in on a corner. They'll bring the goalie up and put the goalie in the box for a corner. And, so I've seen that goal happen before where the goalie heads it in because he's the tallest guy out there. He runs down the field and it's an extra man in the box and he gets a head on it and puts it in. So like to see more of that.
yeah, for sure. Definitely a risky strategy, but shit, man, if you need a goal, then you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. Well,
Has a goal like that happened? Like goalie playing all the way up? Has that happened on like a major stage like this, like Euros or?
so 2 years ago on the final match day of the season in the EPL, and, they do it kind of like the NFL where every team plays at the exact same time on the final on week 18, so that there's no score, there's some scoreboard watching, but like you still, everybody kind of has to go all out. But in with these leagues having Champions League spots on the line, even if you're not necessarily vying for the league title, you still have to finish top 4 or top 6 if you want to make one of these other, either Champions League or Europa League. And I know Liverpool had a top 4 spot on the line where they weren't going to be in the Champions League, and that happened where they sent the goalie down. They were in stoppage time, sent the goalie down into the box on a corner. He actually scored the goal, and it clinched them a spot in the Champions League for the next year because of that exact scenario. So that's the one that immediately comes to mind, and I know that it's happened other times too, but I'm surprised we don't see it more often, especially in stoppage time. I mean, I guess there is goal differential, but what are the chances that somebody's going to rifle it all the way down on an empty net the same way they will in hockey?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, what do we think? Do we have any any flash questions coming in?
Dude, what are you thinking, man? We can get something put up. I mean, maybe if anybody in the audience has any suggestions, something they want to see.
Yeah, would
Um,
love to get some input here.
Anything top of your mind?
I mean, I think one, it's are we going to see penalties or not? Are we going to is somebody going to score? Are we going to see another goal in regulation, or are we just going to kind of ride out 1-1 here?
Yeah, that's a good one. What should we put
I mean,
down?
now
Game.
we're almost 30 minutes into the second half, and there really haven't even been many chances, much less like dangerous threats.
Yeah, yeah. I just got a message asking if we should put down, will the game go into extra time, or should we do, will the game go to penalties? What do you think?
Well, and this is another interesting thing between Copa and the Euros, right? Because now Copa doesn't even go to extra time. So in this instance, I think we could see both. If it goes to extra time, and I think that was probably part of the strategy for Copa to remove it, is because once it gets to extra time, these teams are gassed, and I mean, what we saw from England against, I think that was against Slovenia when they scored early. I think that was a little bit of an outlier because they just knew, hey, like, I think you even said it. As soon as England scored late, you're like, they're going to win this game now. And then right away, I want to say it was 5 to 8 minutes into the first extra time, they scored right away to take the lead. You don't see a lot of that just because teams are, it's like survive and get to penalties and we'll take our chances there. But it's most of the time you're already out of subs. You don't want to do too crazy of subs because you want to keep your best penalty takers in, and teams just really go into their shells. So I think if it goes to extra time, we will see penalties. I
Yeah,
would be
yeah,
shocked if anybody scored.
yeah. All right. So I think what we're gonna get up on the flash questions is the game to go into penalties. Um, we'll get that up right away. Give us a minute. We'll let you guys know as soon as that's live. Make sure you guys are the first to hear about it. Um, but yeah, I like that. I like that. Honestly, it's up now. It's up now. So if you go to play.tenamint.com, maybe we can get a QR code up.
Yeah.
Go to play.tenamint.com, put in your pick. Will the game go into penalties? I'm making my pick now. I'm gonna say yes. Honestly, I've seen enough here to kind of see how this game's gonna play out, and I'm with you. If it goes to extra time, teams are just gonna shell up, and they're gonna take their chances in a penalty shootout. So, uh, curious to see how the percentages play out. We had a direct even split on the over under 3.5 goals, which is definitely leaning towards the under now, but that was 50-50 there. Gonna be interesting to see how the community votes on this one.
Yeah, well, people will get yet again another chance to zag against my picks that continue to miss on these flash challenges.
Yeah. And so if you're watching here, you can just scan the QR code on your screen, and that'll take you directly to the Tenement app in Telegram, where you can go ahead and make those picks. The flash question's up for about 13 minutes, so you guys got some time, but obviously get your picks in now. Click yes or no, and then hit save at the bottom. Curious to what you guys think. Yeah, that overpick for both of us isn't looking too good.
No, yet again.
Ooh, Netherlands had a chance there.
Yeah, and if anybody's gonna, I mean, I don't know. I say this, and now I'm sure the opposite will happen. The way this has been going, but if somebody's gonna score, it will be the Netherlands because I do think they, you know, oh, it is, yeah, it's definitely a lot more suited to their style, and you know, to be honest, I think they pose a better matchup to Spain than England does, at least as far as like from a viewer standpoint. A more enjoyable watch.
Yeah, without a doubt. I would love to see that game, man. Hopefully the Netherlands move on and we get to see Spain versus Netherlands.
Yeah, I mean, it's like England reminds me almost of Virginia basketball in March Madness, where you can't say they aren't good, but I don't know. Nobody wants to see games that are like 60-55 every game. It's just try to score. Can we try to score? Let's try that out.
I'm not gonna lie. I bet you my English friends are already blowing up my phone. Like, you guys have hated on England enough, you know.
I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop anytime soon until I start seeing some changes. It's and there's been some conversations about how Southgate and Berhalter, Berhalter, who's the U.S. coach, he views Southgate as somewhat of a mentor. I don't know if that feeling is mutual or not, but that kind of makes it even worse because it's like, man, you're
Oh
kind of
wow!
hurting us too. Uh-oh.
I don't know if you're a few seconds behind me, but I think they're checking for offsides here or something. I gotta see it. I gotta see the replay here.
Oh yeah.
That's coming back, right?
I don't know. I mean, Kyle Walker, he was ahead. Yeah, and to add another element, we essentially have the soccer version of Tim Donaghy refereeing this game. I don't know if you saw that story or not, but the lead official has had been like implicated and admitted to and served somewhat of a suspension for um, like match fixing and gambling, and it's a full on Tim Donaghy situation in
I
the
don't know.
NBA. And
I don't know how they let him to continue. Like
yeah,
my
and not only to continue, but he's in like as almost as big of a game as you can be.
Yeah. Okay. So England's making some substitutions here. I think we're still waiting on the final call on a
I
goal.
think, yeah. I mean, are they even going to VAR? I think it's.
I'm watching here with my sound off, obviously, just for the sake of the stream. Alt Fanatics dropping English flags here, so maybe he knows something we don't.
Well,
Oh no, it
something
looks like
I find interesting is that 100% of people still think that we're going into penalties. So I would love to see that because I want to see the Netherlands answer now. But as I'm looking at the scoreboard, the goal's taken off the board.
oh, my connection kind of disconnected there for a second. I'm seeing 50-50 on my screen. Maybe hit refresh at a percentage
See.
there.
Oh, yeah, here we go. Let's see. Alt Fanatic cheering on England.
I'm surprised he's still tuned in because of how much hate you've given
Yeah,
given England.
yeah,
Glad
yeah, yeah.
that Alt Fanatics is sticking it through, man.
Yeah, I know. Man. See, this is kind of the good thing of this. And like, if I was a viewer, if I'm on this app at home, I'm keeping this open and I'm using up that full 8 minutes to my advantage.
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely
And
being
I'm keeping,
generous
not
with the.
only that, I'm keeping the app open anyway because I don't know if there's going to be another question that pops in there like while I have it up. So
Yeah, absolutely. For those wondering, like, how do I know when a flash question goes live? Well, here, if we're live on the Tenement TV, we're going to tell you here first. But if you're in the Tenement community, the group chat on Telegram, you'll get notified pretty much right away as well. So that's how you know when it's time to make those picks. Um, Essentially, these picks, these flash questions, they're worth double the points of a regular question. So you're going to get 10 reward points if you backed whatever team to win this game to advance. But you're getting 20 points per flash question. So it is literally one of the fastest ways to rack up some points, climb the leaderboard, and so forth. And I know we've got a lot of people asking us about the monthly leaderboard. That's coming very soon. So if you're atop the July leaderboard, you are going to get rewarded for your performance here in July. And there's no shortage of other games as well. You may be tuned in because you saw Tenement TV presents England versus Netherlands, but we've got soccer, we've got basketball. We're going to do a lot for Olympics, baseball. So there's no shortage of opportunities to kind of rack up those points. And we talked about it a bit yesterday, but the things you can do with those points are essentially endless. We have the marketplace opening up soon, where you can use that towards redeeming it for Tenement token. You'll be able to, buy, merch or tickets and stuff like that. Sports related experiences and all of that just for being a fan. Like this is all free to play to earn, and $0 required to even to participate. So, save your hard-earned money. Instead of putting it all on your favorite betting app, save your hard-earned money and make your picks on Tenament and rack up those rewards without a single dime. Right?
yeah, absolutely. This is where a lot of maybe people that are really bad at sports gambling can come to play too, because you're not going to lose. You're not going to lose money. I'll say that.
Yeah, the funniest thing is we used to have this group chat for, sports fans, just like between like people, friends and friends of friends, and people were sharing their picks all the time. And I think the group as a whole hit a cold streak, and it just went dead just because no one was hitting. And so hey, if you're one of those guys in that group, this Tenement's for you.
This is a good place to get in and get some slump busters. You
Yeah,
come in here, and this is where you can work your way out of a slump.
absolutely, absolutely.
Primarily right now by fading my picks in the flash picks. That's a real easy way to get out of a slump.
Yeah, yeah. We got Nader in the group
Oh
chat
boy.
or on the in the chat here saying that I'm talking
Yeah.
about him. Yeah,
Yeah, he
absolutely.
feels my pain. He's feeling my pain on this one.
Yeah. So guys, you got 4 minutes to go on the flash question. Will the game go into penalties? This is about 10. I don't know how much stoppage time we had here. I'm gonna guess like 3 or 4 minutes. So you got 9 minutes left in this in regulation time plus injury time, and then we talked about the strategy in overtime, and I'm leaning towards the yes on this game going into penalties. It's a shame that England goal didn't count, but that's probably the best chance they're gonna get, right?
I would think so. But at the same time, you never know. I mean, this is when they scored against Slovenia was even later than this. But
Oh yeah,
uh, like I said, that's part of the problem is that yeah. And here's Wout Weghorst for the Netherlands, who another guy that Virgil. Virgil's great in there on the set pieces because he's just kind of like bullying people. Number
he's huge.
four, Virgil van Dijk. This guy's he's the tallest guy out there and just kind of like bullying his way in.
Yeah, he's huge out there, man.
Yeah,
How
I
tall is he?
love Virgil.
Looks looks like an NBA player, man.
Yeah, yeah. It's always great because oftentimes when you see team like if there's a fight or a dust up of sorts amongst you know from the other team, he'll come in, and it's funny how quickly like it just kind of the whole dispute dissolves, because especially he's the center back, and a lot of times these striker, or some of the wingers, and they might not be the tallest guys, some of the offensive creators that are kind of playing through the middle, and up against him, it's just like it looks like he has a child. He's standing next to a child.
Yeah, man. Reminds me of there's this one guy in the NHL. I think he's a rookie this year. He's just massive. I forget his name, man.
Well, I remember Owen Power, who plays for Buffalo. That guy's huge. The defenseman on Buffalo.
Yeah,
Oh,
there's Chara,
oh,
but
oh!
oh,
All right.
did I
Well,
miss
we had
something
some
here?
shots. Yeah.
Oh, Matt Rempe. That's what I was talking about. He plays for New York Rangers, man. He's like, let me see how tall he is. 6'9", just a giant out there.
Let's see.
So 1 minute left on that flash question. We got 66% in favor of this going to penalties. So
I wonder what the weather is like there. I mean, like Ronald Koeman, the Netherlands coach, he's wearing a winter coat on the sidelines. Surely it can't be that cold in Germany. I think they're in. I want to say they're in Munich.
let's find out. 67 degrees Fahrenheit, 19
Yeah,
degrees.
he's got a coat on. Oh, they're in Dortmund, but it's not going to be much different there than it is in Munich. It's just I don't think it's coat or even heavy jacket weather.
Yeah, exact same weather. Oh no.
Oh, right as the poll closes.
Yeah.
Yeah, right as the poll closes.
That's the second time today. I got to see the replay on this, man. I'm checking the weather in Dortmund, and I look back down at my phone on my stream, and man, say what you want about England, but they are clutch, man. Oh my God.
Wow.
I got to see this replay. Come on, man. Let's see it. Here we go. Wow.
Yeah,
No
I'd like to
debate
see
on.
where's that, because Javi Simons is very upset. Uh, I wonder what his dispute is.
Man, what a strike, man. Like, beautiful placement right on that outside goal post.
Mm.
Beautiful strike, man. Yeah, England is clutch, man. England is clutch. Like,
Here we go. I'm thinking we get maybe 5 minutes of stoppage.
man, that's hilarious. How it was right when the poll closes that we see that. That's the second time today.
Yeah, yet again. The streak continues.
Yeah. Looking forward to seeing how much extra time they're going to give them, man.
I mean, now I think we got to be pushing closer to 6 minutes.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. They're taking
Yeah,
a sweet
Ollie
time on the
Watkins.
executions
Ollie
here.
Watkins. How recent? I feel like he got subbed on like fairly recently.
I guess they're going with a more defensive approach now.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
2 minutes. Yeah, 2 minutes plus another 2 minutes.
How many corners do you think England has in this game?
I'll tell you right now, man. I have it up here. They've got
Yeah,
they've got
yeah.
they've got none.
Zero
Man,
corners. Tough
I've
day
got
at
like
the office for anybody who took over England corners.
I've got the Reddit like live chat kind of on the side here, and everyone's like England doesn't deserve it. Lots of haters here, man. Then you got like the one or a couple of England fans with their "It's coming home" comment as usual.
Never gets old. Also,
Yeah,
never happens.
yeah, yeah. Lots of people hating on the refs too. That's for sure.
Yeah, I want to know what the dispute was because Simons got carded for dissent for some. I mean, he was arguing something pretty animated. So I wonder if that you know if it was something leading up to the goal or man, now this guy's just dishing out cards left and right.
Yeah. I don't know if Netherlands gonna get another chance like that, man. That was it. Man, Spain versus England. I gotta go. If nothing changes here and England moves on, I'm gonna have to take Spain, man.
Yeah, and you have to imagine. I mean, Spain is going to be for the new. That's going to be who the neutrals are rooting for. At least that's how I feel. It's going to be. If you don't have a horse in the race, you're rooting for Spain, and
Yeah.
if you aren't, why not?
Wow, that's it, man. That's history. England's moving on, guys. Wow.
Well, guys,
90th minute goal.
and the second time they've done that in the knockout stage.
Yeah. This is their first finals in
Well, they
Euro.
were in the finals. They were in the last Euro finals against Italy and
But that was
lost
at
in
home, right?
penalties. Yeah. That was the home one when it was supposed to be coming/staying home.
Yeah. This will be the
But
first time they've ever made it on foreign soil.
yeah,
Wow.
man.
Shoot, man. Well, that's that, man. I thought we were
I
gonna
will
go.
say, for all the hating, like they certainly were the better team. I mean, that second half, they just kind of took over.
Yeah.
Say what you will about their play style, but that second half, they kind of really imposed their will. They dominated possession and just kind of grinded the Netherlands down.
And you really can't doubt that they're clutch, man. Honestly, like between this game and that what was it, Slovenia game, like that, like just clutch, man, just clutch.
Yeah, and maybe some of that is whenever things kind of get when it gets late in the game is when you can kind of go off script a little bit more, and that's when things start breaking down, and that's when the elite players are going to kind of rise up and make things happen.
Yep, yep.
These England
Well,
crowd shots are fantastic.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, Little Ed Sheeran in the crowd,
Oh,
sitting next to somebody decked out in LA Galaxy gear. Or LA, not LA Galaxy. Who's the other team? God bless diehard MLS fans.
Are you an MLS fan at all? You got a team?
So, being based out of Indianapolis, they're like there's a stadium that's being built because they're trying to make a pitch to be like, so they have the Indy 11, which is in the like the tier below the MLS. A lot of teams in the MLS right now came out of there, whether like Columbus and Cincinnati and St. Louis, and so they're trying to be the next expansion team. Um, I think that's going to ultimately determine. I mean, I've tried to get into it last year. I did watch a lot more. I mean, they have a very bizarre playoff format, but it's kind of fun. Uh, you know, I've watched it. I've given it a chance. It's a different game than what you're watching on the EPL in the mornings, but it can be fun. And you know what? If Indy gets a bid and they get in, you'll see me probably do a 180, and I'll be following the MLS a lot more closely.
Yeah,
Right now, I
100%.
just keep an eye on it.
Yeah, 100%. It's a lot different when you've got a home team. Like, I would not really care for the MLS that much, but just because, we got the TFC, Toronto FC, I keep an eye on it a little bit, right? Like, more so than I would if we didn't have the squad. So, um, yeah, having that hometown team definitely helps. All right, cool. So, I mean, 90th minute goal. We're gonna see Spain versus England. I guess that's Sunday. We'll get that game up on the app so you can make your picks early. We'll get that up tonight. Real quickly though, Colombia versus Uruguay tonight. Who do you got there for Copa America?
So if there's a fun team to watch in this tournament, it is Colombia. I mean, that team is electric. They play like a European style where they have flair. They play aggressive. Uruguay is, I'm fairly certain they're the favorite and rightfully so. But I'll be honest, I kind of lean towards Colombia just because of the way they've been playing. You'll see their uniforms are electric. They just are playing with so much confidence where you can just see it. They're just kind of and Uruguay on the other. I don't really like the vibes coming from them right now. Where yes, they beat Brazil, but they committed 26 fouls. They really mucked it up. They kind of just decided, hey, we're just going to make this game as physical and dirty as possible, and we're just going to try and get the penalties and win there. And they did. And then afterwards, their coach made a lot of comments about how the game is not as enjoyable as it used to be. And I want to be like, yeah, man, you know why? Because of you, because of this style that you played tonight. So anyway, I say all that to say, if you want a fun team to ride with, and here's the thing, it pains me to say because I had been riding with Uruguay through Copa. They were my dark horse. I was kind of rooting for them to win. Kind of turned on them a little bit after that Brazil matchup, and now I'd like to ride with Colombia.
All right, all right. To be honest, I haven't been watching either of these teams too much, but I'm gonna take your word for it, man. I'm tailing you on this. I'm gonna go Colombia. Um,
If you want to
yeah,
watch they got two guys. Luis Diaz is a really fun guy to watch. He's like the Energizer Bunny out there. Like, he never stops running. He is going full speed. Like, he only has one speed that he operates on, and he just kind of pedal to the metal the whole time. And like I said, I really hope they're wearing they have to be wearing the home kits tonight because it's going to be which is always very important. It's going to be a very aesthetically pleasing uniform matchup between
Yeah.
like the Carolina blue of Uruguay and the the
Yellow.
festive uniforms of Colombia.
Yeah. Are they yellow?
It has all the colors of their flag. Yeah, so it's like yellow, blue, and red, and
Okay.
there's kind of different stripes going different directions, and it's just something that you kind of have to see.
All right, man. But if I see them walk onto that pitch and they're wearing anything else other than those ones, man, I might
Yeah,
step my
fade, auto fade,
fade it.
auto
Yeah.
fade.
All right, cool, guys. So if you guys want to give us your thoughts on this game, the finals, Spain versus England, the game tonight between Colombia and Uruguay, or switch gears and talk about the Canada versus USA friendly in basketball today. The Olympics kind of, they're doing this. USA is doing this kind of road to the Olympics showcase week where they're going to be playing a few different international teams. Starting today with Canada. That's at I think 10:30 p.m. Eastern time. That's all on the app. You'll find that game actually classified under NBA for now. But make your pick there. But join the community. Get the QR code on the screen for them one more time for the community, just to hear everyone's thoughts and get people talking about the game we watched today and the games on the horizon. And yeah, I mean, it's been a pleasure. That QR code's up on the screen now. Make sure you scan that. And yeah, absolutely been a pleasure, Zach. Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to let out with before we head out?
No, I look forward to continue to be being proven wrong by England, and ultimately, I mean, we want to hear like, what do you guys want to see? Do you want us to do a live stream on table tennis? Like, we'll crank that out. If you want to see picks if you want to see picks on the app, for third league, third tier Dutch soccer, like we'll do that. Let us know. Fire
Yeah.
away. You'll see it in the app.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Join the community. Let us know what you want to see. Let us know what you want us to talk about. If you need us to get Jim Bob Cooter in here to talk some fantasy
Yeah.
football, you got your draft coming up. We can do that too. It's everything's on the table. If we're missing something, or you want something on the app, you want something to be talked about on TNMT TV, we got you guys. Just let us know. We read every comment, every message in the chat. And we're constantly updating the TENAMINT app so you can get rewarded for the picks that you make on the sports that you want to watch too. So, yeah, guys, great conversation today, and see you guys soon. Peace.